Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Eve of Christmas Eve. Welcome to this very special Wrestling Inc. Daily edition of the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's our holiday special where it's me, the managing editor of Wrestling Inc., Nick Hausman. I'm joined here by each of my co-hosts this week in video form, as we usually do the daily in podcast form. And each of my co-hosts has chosen a classic pay-per-view or event for me to watch. We're going to review. We're going to chat about it here. And today I'm joined by Second City's EJ Cameron, who has graced us all, who's graced me with the gift of WWE No Way Out 2006. EJ, welcome to the show. Do you want to let everybody know what's going on with your face before we start? Not that you
Wow, way to come at me, dude. No, I'm playing. Yeah, everybody, just so you know, I went and had a deep cleaning today, so my face is very numb. I don't always look like this, and I don't smile like this.
You don't look, unless we called it out, I don't think people would have noticed. You don't look like your face.
You know, I've been moving my face since I've left to get some more feeling in. So if you just see me drooling, that's what this towel is for.
And if you're listening in audio form, you don't get to watch EJ pat his face with a white towel as he drools. Don't try to eat applesauce during the show. That could get rude.
I'm not gonna eat anything, and I'll watch out for my. I can't even do this. My B's and my M's. Can't say B and M words because my lips can't feel them.
I had a nice BM this morning. It was great.
Hey, baby mama.
No, that's a bowel movement. It was a poop.
I got my rally towel. What was that guy, the big O, that had the towels?
Yeah. Oh no, who had the rally? Yeah, was it the big O that had the rally towels? That sounds
something
right.
with the big O. There was something big O-ish about him. He had big hair and he had towels, and that was it.
Okay, I feel like Mojo Rawley at some point did the rally towel thing.
Probably.
Okay.
It was like, I want to say it was a black guy. He reminds me of No Way Jose, but that's not him.
I also thought No Way Jose when you said the rally towel thing. Maybe at one point No Way Jose had rally.
Maybe it was him, and they actually confuse us with storylines and characters for once.
Maybe. Maybe this is the Mandela effect, and nobody ever had. Maybe rally towels, they don't even exist. People are like,
it never happened.
What? Go look up the Mandela effect. You want to know what that is? There's a great documentary I watched about the Mandela. No, it wasn't a documentary. It was a documentary. It was like an episode of a TV show. It's like Nathan Fielder's show. Nathan For You?
Nathan For You, yeah.
He produced another show that came out on HBO this year. It's called
Josh Wilson.
I Want to Teach You How to Do Something, or like.
Is it with Josh Wilson, the guy who always has the camera?
Yeah, you never see him. Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished the last episode yesterday or the day before yesterday. What? I think Ryan Satin was tweeting about it, and I was like, I watched that.
What is it called? It's called like I Want to Help You, or We Learn to Do Something, or something.
Yeah, I got my phone right here. I will tell you.
He does a Mandela effect episode of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. This is a great review, by the way. It's exactly the kind of video content I was hoping to put out.
How To with John Wilson.
How To with John. Go check it out, everybody. Just a little cheap plug here at the top.
It's really good. I can't not see a scaffolding and not think of him.
God, right? So anyway, maybe we'll talk about scaffolding on this show. Well, it has been a busy week for me, EJ. I agreed to do all of these reviews, including one with my boss, Raj Giri. I was given 5 pay-per-views, and I thought, wow, this will be easy. I'll watch a pay-per-view. I'll review it. I layered 20 hours worth of pro wrestling content on top of my week. I've finished it all, including this show. I feel smarter. I feel more confident. All of my co-hosts picked very good pay-per-views for us to watch, and that includes this one, which I thought had some real high points to it.
It's super good. And it's funny, I almost picked December to Dismember, which would have been like a 20-minute show, so I'm glad we went with this one instead.
No, we would have made a lot of bits on December. I wish you'd have picked a bad. I thought of everybody that was going to pick a bad one, I thought it'd be you, but you didn't.
December to Dismember was my first one, and I only didn't pick it because I don't think I ever really fully watched it. So that would have been like a first watch for me.
Oh, that's good. Well, maybe next year.
Next year.
We got all the time in the world, DJ.
All of it.
Can you believe it's been a year of the daily now? It'll be a year January 23rd, I think.
That's right. Or dude, when you do your shows and you pick a wrestling pay-per-view for us to watch.
We're gonna do that next holiday season, I think. So
Easter.
the only time of the year that I ever have to fill multiple weeks of content is the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. We kind of largely like, maybe, if this works and people really like these, maybe we'll do them on like the 4th of July or something, random reviews here and there. But anyway,
do it outside.
So you picked No Way Out 2006. Before we get to the review, some info about it. Why No Way Out 2000? Why was this the pay-per-view you chose, EJ?
Oh my goodness. It has one of my favorite matches of all time. It's Kurt Angle versus Undertaker.
Yeah.
I think it's just nonstop. They just go the whole match. They just take off. Even the rest holds. There's a bunch of like just constant hitting. So it doesn't just look like a rest hold. It's like it looks like an actual fight. So it's also like freshly after Eddie Guerrero, and I forgot that. So the whole show is just like heavy-handed with the Eddie stuff.
Yeah, that is true. So that is actually where I'll start with my notes here, because the show itself took place on February 19th, 2006. But as you referenced, Eddie Guerrero passed away on November 13th, 2005. So literally almost 3 months to the day Eddie Guerrero had passed away. And we find ourselves here at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Michael Cole and Taz are the commentators for the show. This is the only show I reviewed where Taz is on commentary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Everybody else picked us non-Taz shows. We go to the opening video package, and it recaps how Rey Mysterio had just won the Royal Rumble. He's got this title shot going into WrestleMania, and he's going to be putting that title shot on the line here tonight against Randy Orton later on in the show. And Randy Orton, in the promo, hyping the show, they show him telling Rey that Eddie is going to hell. There was also like a bit where like Randy ran over the Undertaker, I think, with Rey's lowrider.
Lowrider, yep.
I went on to the Observer to do some research into the show, and one thing I wanted to include here, they said there is so much, and this is from the Observer in that year, so the same week, there's so much hatred for all of this inside the company, but Vince and Steph are into it 100%, and that's not about to change. And yeah, watching it back, and maybe as a younger man, like I was like, oh, yeah, okay, you're trying to get heat or whatever. Like you can kind of rationalize it a bit. But as years go on, EJ, and like your own kind of mortality and stuff sets in, and you just start to think about your friends a little bit differently, hug those you love, the closest to kind of deal. I got to put myself in the head of some of the, because we haven't even got to most of it, but we'll start there with the line with, Randy telling Rey that Eddie's down in hell. If you're a competent adult and had a relationship with this man, you're feeling this stuff, man. It's pretty crass to be using this to get some cheap, in my opinion, cheap heat.
It's so soon,
dude.
I forgot. I love that you said that. As a kid, I was like, oh, I can't believe you said that. As soon as I started and they showed that recap, I was like, oh my God, that was, whoa.
Yes,
whoa. Dude. And then the same show, you get Vicky Guerrero and Chavo there.
Dude.
This is pre-heel Vicky. This is like, oh, poor Vicky.
I was talking to Jimmy Corderas about this.
Yeah, he's in it.
He is in it. And I was talking to Jimmy about it. And he was like, well, I imagine... He's like, I imagine they got Vicky's permission to do this. And that's kind of how everybody, emotionally grappled with the way they were using Eddie's legacy, particularly the show and leading into it. And one of the other things, too, because like this, I believe, let me think back. I think this is the deepest. So you picked the latest of the pay-per-views. All the other pay-per-views I reviewed as part of these holiday series were pre-2006. So to kind of give some context, to kind of give some context here where we're at, we're 5 years removed from Vince buying WCW. WCW Invasion is over and done 4 years ago because the invasion lasted less than a year, believe it or not. And we are now like we're kind of in this weird period here where WWE is the top dog. There is no real other promotion. Ring of Honor does exist. I believe if TNA is around infancy, maybe first of a couple
Oh yeah, they were around. They were real small.
Yeah,
I think it was like Spike or TNN back then.
they had just been on pay-per-view. They were doing like weekly pay-per-views for a while there too.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vince is top dog. Nobody can touch him. And I almost wonder if that is playing into him needing to not maybe needing, but feeling he can do something like this to get this kind of heat, to draw that attention, because there's no guardrails here for Vince in 2006.
Oh yeah, there's none, and there's also the only competition is, I think at the time, was SmackDown versus Raw. There was that internal battle because Taz starts it immediately. He goes, "Yeah, this ain't Raw. You're not gonna hear none of that here. You're gonna hear some of the good stuff." And I was like, "Oh, shots fired."
Well, and it's interesting you noted the SmackDown versus Raw thing, because this is a SmackDown only pay-per-view, which is crazy and tells you how strong SmackDown was. And this is these talents you're seeing and you're going to hear about today, they aren't even on Raw. Like I'd even look. I probably should have. I would have loved to have known who's over on Raw right now, like leading the shows. And Batista got to be like
no, Batista was SmackDown.
Yeah, he's on this show.
Batista was SmackDown.
Yeah.
It was Cena, Triple H. Oh my goodness, I think Jericho was on Raw at the time.
Okay, so Radicals.
And
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, a lot of talkers. I think Rock was done by then. Done.
Yeah. Well, anyway, very strong roster here over on SmackDown, and of course, the opening video package was also put over that, like you put over, Undertaker and Kurt Angle. They're gonna be wrestling for the title in the main event here on the show. So double main event here: Mysterio, Orton, and Undertaker, Angle. Michael Cole starts the show up, hyping the history of the building, including a match where he decides to bring up how Vince beat Stephanie, like I guess on the eve of her wedding or whatever. Just throwing it out there.
Just fun tidbits. I kind of like that he did that. They should do that for every arena, just like a quick reminder.
They do, and it's weird because like I don't know when they stopped that, but in a lot of the shows that I've been watching and recapping and reviewing, that is pretty common. Like how they run down the history of the building and other play, or like not even the history, but the history of the event. You know, we did Survivor Series '98. And, you know, that was something where they played into like, well, it was a year ago that, you know, Kane came out in the same building that we're doing Survivor Series in this.
Yeah.
Week. So anyway, match number 1, Cruiserweight champion Gregory Helms defending against Scotty Hotty, Paul London, Brian Kendrick, Funaki, Super Crazy, Psicosis, Nunzio, and Kid Kash. They did a recap video before the match. The storyline going into this is pretty straightforward, EJ. Shane Helms thinks he is king of the Cruiserweights, and everybody hates him, right?
Easy.
It's so easy. So easy. Paul London and Brian Kendrick, they come to the ring together. They're a unit, even though they're going to be fighting separately. They're both wearing what I call the eyes wide shut masks. Like they look like they just came from a sex party kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've been to sex parties. We know about it.
Yes, you do. Yes. Did I
get some of that sliced bread?
Did I give away too much? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I got that barbecue sauce from the.
It ain't barbecue.
Barbecue sauce on my fingers from that nice food spread over there. Anyway, super crazy. And Psicosis come out in gardener gear, riding lawnmowers, and are called the Mexicools. Thoughts?
That's right. I forgot about the damn Mexicools until then, because they used to have Juventud. Guerrero was a part of them too, right?
Yeah, he did just pissed everybody off, and they just were like,
that's what it was. I think back in the day, what I remember, because I was heavy on the dirt sheet, it was like Hoovy was loved by Vince, so because he knew that he had a big ego, and then everybody was like, "Oh, we hate this guy."
I have a great Hoovy. Can I pause and tell a great Hoovy story?
Always.
Okay, so the Hoovy juice. So
the juice
is loose. The Hoovy juice is loose. It was, when was Mania in New Orleans? That was 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
That was 30, right?
35.
WrestleMania 30?
4 years ago? It's like 3 years ago. 2 years ago, right?
Something like that.
When they were down in New Orleans, a bunch of the GCW guys were staying in the house together. And I'm friends with those guys. We were hanging out. We were going to having some drinks after shows and stuff. And I met up with them before we were going over to the Collective. I think it was actually maybe the first year they did. I don't forget. Timeline's fuzzy. That was a fuzzy trip. But anyway, is New Orleans GCW guys stay together. I went over to meet up with them before we go over to GCW show. And we pick them up. We leave. We start to head out. And they realize that they've, like, I think it was Gringo Loco was like, I forgot my gear. He realized he'd forgotten part of his gear back at the apartment they were staying at. And so we had to go back, and we get there, and he doesn't have his keys, and because it's like a B&B. He didn't have the key. They realized none of them have the key. This place is locked up. The only person who's left in the house that is unaccounted for is Juventud Guerrero. And like at this time, because we can't break into the place, we don't really know what part. It's like a dodgy part of New Orleans. It's not a great part of New Orleans. We're all like hanging, looking like we're trying to break into this building. And we're all like, they're all trying to call Hoovy. And like, he's not picking up. About half an hour in, randomly, he comes to the door and was like, hey, what's going on, guys? He's got a towel on. He'd just been chilling in the bathroom, taking a shower. He was like totally cool. I didn't know he was there. I didn't know he was staying with him at that point. But like, they're all running around grabbing their gear, and I'm just standing in the foyer with Hoovy, and I'm like, dude, you're Hoovy. And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like,
he's like, yeah, that's me.
I was like, thanks for letting us in, man. Like, that's really cool that you're here and that you're doing this for everybody. It's just bizarre. Just Hoovy hanging out in his towel, just very cool about everything.
He's like, yeah, that's me.
Sure. Cool. Let's hang out.
Yeah, call me the juice.
Just wanted to hang out. He was a really nice guy. So anyway, that's my Hoovy story. My Hoovy story, very positive. Did not have a negative.
Good. Yeah, that's a good one.
The Mexicools, man, questionable. What's Vince doing? It's 2006, man. This is a little late in the game to still be.
It's too late in the game. I remember I remember being a kid in the Havin. I was like, I don't think this is good. Why are they driving John Deere tractors and oh my god, with little Mexican flags on the lawnmowers?
Yeah. So anyway, everyone goes after Helms, flees the ring. Everyone just starts fighting each other. I wrote. Helms is just waits outside the ring. So this was smart. What Helms did here. It's a lot of people. Sure, it's first one to get a pinfall, but he lets them all fight and he gets out of the ring. Smart man. That's Shane Helms.
Smart man. Champion for a reason.
Yeah, totally. Kid Kash, who was in this match, and I had forgotten about Kid Kash. He's one of those guys, and I saw him, dude.
I was a huge fan growing up. I was a huge Kid Kash guy.
Dude, he moves and looks more like Owen Hart than I remembered. Doesn't he?
Very much so. I forgot he was in the match, and when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, Kid Kash. I used to love him.
Yeah.
He was another guy that they said he had a bad attitude, but anybody that uses a brain buster, mwah.
Yeah, he was just one of those great in-ring tacticians. He was great. So anyway, Helms comes in to the ring to pick over the beaten down Kash, only to be surrounded and beaten down by everybody. Super crazy. I just wrote, appears to be wearing a No Way Out promotional shirt during the match. As not even his own merch, just like, hey, cool. That's my gear today.
Like, promote the show. Super crazy.
I guess. Anyway, the Mexicools hit a sick rolling leg drop move that I thought, oh yeah, it was a rolling leg power bomb. You know what I'm talking about here?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I love that move, and I've seen it done awful before. So that's why I'm weird about it. If you get a chance, look up Eminem versus the Hardys.
Oh,
they try to do that same slam, and it looks soft and awful, but this one was perfect.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this one. I was like, why is this move not being brought back? Tons of action. Kash hits an insane Hurricane Rana on Psicosis after leaping over the top rope to the outside. That was baller.
Crazy. His head was this close to the ground. It was this close.
That was a lot of momentum. That was such control from both guys. Everyone's hitting their finishers. Out of nowhere, Scotty hits a bulldog into the worm. I reviewed Vengeance 2001 not long ago as part of all this. Scotty Too Hotty, 5 years before this, the worm, biggest pop of the night in the first match of the show. 5 years later, opening match of the night, Scotty Too Hotty, the worm, biggest pop of the night, biggest pop of the first.
If it works, it works.
It works.
When it works, it works. Even their music, I forgot how awesome their music was. It would turn it out. I was like, oh snap. I forgot. I love those guys. Hell yeah, too cool, man.
I see you ducking and weaving boxing right now, like listening to the
doing the Rikishi dance, the step touch.
Oh my god. Kid Kash hit the dead leveler, which is like his version of the brainbuster, followed by Super Crazy hitting a moonsault, breaks up the pin. Helms snuck up, rolled up Psicosis for the win, takes off. Everyone runs after him, recreating what we now call the WWE 24/7 group. This is pretty much the same.
This is where it was birthed, Nick. The birthplace of shenanigans. You know what also is crazy, a little weird tidbit? Shane Helms' weight is 215, which usually cruiserweight is 205 and under. So that was such a weird tidbit. I guess that time of wrestling, they were like, yeah, anything under 230, you're a cruiserweight.
The cruiserweights at this point were just the mid carders in a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
in a
the
lot of
smallest mid carders that they had. Yeah,
that was it. Then we go backstage. U.S. champion. I wrote King Booker, but he's not really. As the show progressed, I realized he's not quite King Booker at this point, right?
no, not yet. We have Queen Sharmell, but he's not the king yet.
Yeah, okay, because she's the queen. That's why I got confused. But anyway, U.S. champ Book. He's with Queen Sharmell. They're in the back arguing with General Manager Teddy Long, saying that he is not, Booker saying he's not 100%, shouldn't compete. Teddy says Booker seems like he's 100% to him based on how, he was interfering on matches and, being very physical on SmackDown. Sharmell at this point gets down on both her knees to beg Teddy, and Teddy's like, that's not right. Don't do that. It's
huge pop. I was like, oh my God.
They had it brought it down crotch level camera shot first, then panned up, and Teddy's like, this is bad.
God.
Bad visuals. Booker, but to make it better, he also agrees to get on one knee. The gentleman. So it's not just his wife begging. So they're begging together. Teddy says, Booker, you know what? You're still going to face Chris Benoit tonight. And if you don't, you're going to forfeit that title. And that enrages Booker, and that's the end of the sequence. Booker's great here, man.
Booker's always spot on. I also love this is what they call it, the best of 7, right?
Well, they had just I think what happened was they had the best of 7. They had 6 bouts. Booker gets injured. Booker picked.
Yeah, he pulled his groin or something.
Yeah,
he picked Orton for one of them.
Yeah, Orton I think was the last. I think he was the last one. He loses. So Benoit won the best of 7, even though it wasn't really a best of 7. So this is, I guess, technically the 7th of their best of 7, even though the best of 7 is over. You got it? You get it?
Yeah. It's their second best of 7 because they had a best of 7 in WCW.
Yes. Best of 15, I guess.
Something like that. But nowadays you can watch Raw and see a best of 7 every week.
Yeah. Or, again, 15. So backstage segment, Finlay is interviewed by Crystal Marshall and says he came from Ireland for a fight. No one is fighting him, so he's going to pick a fight, and he just grabs her.
2006.
Carries her to the ring. Crystal is terrified in the ring pre-match, thinking Finlay's going to fight her. Because, why wouldn't you? Out comes her now, or wait, were they married? Because they're no longer married, right?
No longer married.
Okay. Were they together at this point? I'm not.
I think so. I think there was something. I would assume for him to come out here like this.
Okay.
Or no, but then she ends up marrying Teddy Long. I don't know. They got together at some point in real life.
Well, anyway, Lashley runs out to save Crystal. The two begin brawling, and out comes JBL's limo. Cole notes that Lashley is supposed to be the one facing JBL tonight. So JBL gets out of his ring. He hustles to the ring. And now we don't have Finlay fighting anybody. We have JBL versus Bobby Lashley. And Lashley, he's in the ring fending off Finlay. He turns around. He sees JBL in the ring. The ref starts the bell. And the first comment I have is Bobby Lashley looks exactly the same now as he did 14 years ago. How is that possible?
Black don't crack, Nick.
I guess.
I thought the same thing. I was like, holy crap, man. 14 years. He looks amazing. Still.
My God. So at this point, Cole noted that Lashley is undefeated. He also noted that JBL's assistant, Jillian, is the one who accepted this match with Lashley on his behalf. And he also referenced Jillian's run-in with the Boogeyman, which I believe is where he ate the mole off of her face, infamously.
Yep. I was looking for her face to be like, oh, she doesn't have the mole. This is post Boogeyman.
Yeah, post Boogeyman. Disgusting. It just makes me vomit a little bit. Just
with the worms.
Lashley hit JBL with a big power slam. The crowd is noticeably way into Lashley here. And maybe JBL is doing a good job getting heat, but the crowd seems really into Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley's great. He looks great. And JBL, I will say, is the last great true heel.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. I love JBL.
Well, Randy Orton, I would say that too, but man, they're really testing him right now, putting him with the Fiend. That is a messy. Anyway,
Randy Orton's a little too cool for me though, because anytime he hits the RKO, I forget, and I'm like, yes. JBL, I hate him the whole time so much that I love him, and I love the clothesline from hell.
I guess Miz is maybe a pure heel in WWE, right?
Yeah.
They've done some stuff with him as a babyface, and I thought it worked. There's a likable Mike Mizan, but he's a natural heel. He's good at
it. Yeah, he's a natural. JBL's a bully in real life, so it helps.
So Lashley gets beaten down outside the ring. JBL rolls him in the ring, hits a top rope elbow drop, and I just wrote, I don't think I have ever seen, and it was not a crisp looking Randy Savage. It was a slop drop elbow drop.
It was a slop. It was a big old ugly boy. I had the same thing. He got up top and I was like, he doesn't do this. And then he hit it. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Wow. While JBL has Lashley in a follow-up sleeper, Cole is talking about how you need to build momentum from the ground up when you build a tree with Legos, which I guess I just wrote this down because Taz, I guess, loves Legos, and he felt Michael Cole was making fun of him because he enjoys building with Legos. Does this resonate with you at all?
I remember them saying something about it, and I thought it was such a weird moment in the show. I was like, wait, what?
Weird. So anyway, again, after
little tough Taz playing with Legos, he's like, yeah, come here, yeah, pop those hips.
And the reference is so specific where he's like, you're building the roots of a tree like you would build your trees. Maybe Taz was working on this like beautiful rainforest Lego set backstage, and that's why Michael Cole decided to like rib him or something. I don't know. You know? All right. I said after what seemed like 5 minutes of selling this goddamn sleeper, JBL goes to the top rope again, gets caught by Lashley when he dives into a power slam. Lashley powers up, throws a belly to suplex. Like Lesnar throws German suplexes. He did them 4 times in a row. Very impressive. Finally, Finley comes to ringside, throws Tony Kimmel in the ring. Oh, no. I said JBL is now bleeding from his eye because it looked like JBL and Lashley may have butted heads on one of the suplexes. Like when I think Lashley went down, I think they kind of
I was trying to I rewinded to find it, but I couldn't find the moment. But
I think it was
definitely in that sequence.
I think it was I had to go back too. I think it was the third one. I saw them fall in a way where I think their heads butted when they hit the ground. I think he hit one more, and then JBL came up and he was just bleeding from his eye. Finley comes to ringside. He throws Tony Kimmel in the ring. Nick Patrick is dealing with Kimmel in the corner. Which I'd love Finley just grabbing Tony Kimmel. He's like, I need to create a distraction. You get in the ring. And the referee is like going over to Kimmel, which makes a lot of sense. He's like, what the hell are you doing in here?
Hey, get out of here.
While Nick Patrick is dealing with Kimmel, Finley running whacks Lashley in the head with the shillelagh, which looked brutal, setting up JBL's clothesline for hell for the win, and now JBL is not undefeated anymore, and JBL celebrates bleeding from the eye. It was not a classic by any stretch, but it was a good showing from these guys. It was a good showing of what these guys were capable of, I'd say, at this time.
Yeah, you finally get Lashley to lose with some shenanigans. I think this set up Lashley, Finley after, and Finley's awesome. They have a great string of matches after this. And JBL is a U.S. champ. If anybody should be the U.S. champ, JBL.
There you go. In-ring segment, Tony Kimmel introduces tonight's special guest, Batista. So Taz and Cole put over what a shock this is. People in the crowd are going nuts. Batista's in this pinstripe suit. Cole put over how Batista won the world title at Mania the year before, went on to beat Triple H 3 times after that, because that's the standard of success. How many times can you beat Triple H? That's like its own little thing.
Yeah, you get a badge.
Yeah, you get a badge. It's like a Pokemon Go trophy. Little nerd joke. All right, notes that it was noted that last month Batista had to relinquish the title due to a torn tricep, and Batista grabs the microphone. He says he's there for 3 reasons. First, he wants to see Angle versus Taker. So, just like you, EJ, you Batista the same. Second, he missed the crowd. And third, he says his tricep is not torn anymore. He said he's been in rehab every day, busting his ass, and sooner than later, he will be back. He says he doesn't care if it's Taker or Angle or whoever. He wants to take back his world heavyweight title, and then he leaves, high-fiving everyone at ringside, including Cole and Taz. And Taz says to Cole, no, Taz did not high-five. Taz said to Cole that Batista needs to use hand sanitizer after touching Michael Cole, which, just considering the times, I thought was something worthy of throwing in there.
Oh yeah, Taz is ahead of the curve. He knew what was coming.
Yeah, you don't want to get sick.
So did Vince with Dean Ambrose, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Any thoughts here on Batista's little promo, EJ?
It's funny to watch. He's not that smooth on the mic.
No, I noticed that too. He was real stiff.
It was real stiff too. I was like, man, it's crazy how far he's come doing Marvel and all these movies. And when he comes back to Raw and just coming back to WWE, he just feels way better, leaps and bounds. Here, it was just like he was stumbling over words. He was trying to get it together and be cool. But he looks good. I forgot that he was gone for a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
because he definitely comes and shakes stuff. No, it wasn't because he was supposed to go into a program with Eddie, I think. They started teeing that up.
Yep.
And I think this is when everybody was tearing their triceps.
Yeah, too much muscle mass. I don't know how that happens. Too much muscle.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, right. Well, then we go backstage. Randy Orton, who I just wrote looks like a baby, confronts Kurt Angle in his locker room. Kurt is wearing his gold medal in his locker room. Orton tells Angle he's going to be world champion when Batista returns, and he tells Angle that he will earn his respect. Angle tells Orton he is the world champion, and his only focus is on the Undertaker. So this is setting the stage here for more to come from Orton and Angle. Just a little tease here between the two. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, I don't want to spoil it. But, yeah, there's going to be more. WrestleMania, you'll know their match.
Yeah. Then we go to backstage. JBL is shown at the WWE Instant Access Room, bleeding from the face and talking to what I imagine is the WWE.com team.
It's such a funny visual. He is just going off and just bleeding, but having a ball.
And imagine at this point, JBL does not really know a lot about how the internet works and is very confused about what is happening inside of the Instant Access Room.
Oh, yeah. He's like, just click that, Maggle.
This brings us to match number 3. WWE Tag Team Champions Eminem with Melina versus Matt Hardy and Mystery. I just wrote that Taz cannot drool enough over Melina's split leg entrance. Wow. Melina is smoking hot. He also, I should say, notes that Mercury and Nitro also very attractive. But picking up the baton that Jerry Lawler left behind here. It's 2006. I feel like I was just reviewing Vince's 2001, and it is miles away from where the Women's Revolution was. We're here 5 years later. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of the attitude has shifted yet in regards to the women.
Oh, no. You talk about how Taz, Melina starts screaming during the match, and Taz is commenting like in the dirtiest way that I felt gross. He was like, yeah, listen to those screams. Oh, yeah, I like that. You hear those screams? I was like, dude, relax.
It's upsetting, man. So Cole puts over how all day the locker room has wondered who Matt's going to be tagging with. Michael Cole also notes this is going to be a non-title match. So this is where Eminem's doing this open challenge. If you can beat them, then you can get a title match, which is kind of an interesting open challenge. I sort of dig that. I think that's worthy of maybe considering bringing back for the right person. Not that you're putting the title on the line, but if you can beat me twice, you can have the title. I think that's not terrible.
Well, here's the beef. They book stuff like that all the time. It's so-and-so pinned the champion. They're going to get a title match. Like, this is back when the champion called it out, but now it's whoever the champion is. Sami Zayn fights Bobby Lashley. Oh, he got pinned. I guess they're going to have a number one contender match. They've abused that method, I think.
Matt Hardy reveals that Tatanka is going to be his tag team partner. I had forgotten there was that brief run there in the mid-2000s where Tatanka was just back.
Me too. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
They had, like, real plans for him and everything. They took him out. I remember him talking about how, like, they took a whole crew out to, like, a reservation and filmed all this stuff. And, like, I remember all the packages and stuff, and it really just kind of didn't go anywhere. It was weird.
Nah.
A lot of money.
Nah, I don't think we were ready for Tatanka in the 2000s.
I don't know.
And the same Tatanka.
I don't know, man. I was a big Tatanka fan. Well, anyway, Cole noted.
Same.
Yeah, dude. Tatanka's awesome. Cole noted that Tatanka returned to the Rumble last month, and the commentators talk about Eminem having their open challenge. Hardy and Tatanka appear to be working well together, and at one point, Hardy does the tomahawk chop, and Tatanka's like, F you doing? Get out of here, white boy. Like, doesn't go to the corner. Like, he looks at him like he's an idiot. That's so funny.
Absolutely not.
You don't get to do that. All right, Tatanka throws, I say, some of the best knife edge chops I have ever seen. Holy hell, wow. This man doesn't pull them.
Agreed, Nick. He was throwing them, and I was like, holy crap, I haven't seen a chop like that in a minute. Man, he lays it on it.
Dude, don't get drunk with that guy at the bar. That's not the one hey, dude, let's throw chops. No, you don't want to do it with Tatanka.
Do it.
Had too many of those nights. All right. Well, Tatanka deals with Mercury on the outside. Melina rakes his eyes as the ref is dealing with Matt. Nitro follows up with a dive onto both. At one point, like you mentioned, Melina just screams as loud as she can at ringside while Eminem are on offense, eliciting the, gross comments. Tatanka is now getting worked over in the corner by Eminem. The crowd is starting to fade, I noticed. They're not really into this. So then there's more screaming from Melina. Tatanka finally fights off an Eminem. He gets the hot tag to Matt, who cleans house. Matt hits all his finishers in succession. They all look good before getting cut off, hitting the twist of fate. Tatanka delivers a top rope double chop, goes on the warpath, and then Tatanka and Matt hit their finishers simultaneously, at least what I believe to be Tatanka's finisher, which I think is a Samoan drop. Tatanka pinned Mercury for the win to a fairly big pop. I mean, this is very thumbs in the middle kind of thing for me. I enjoyed seeing Tatanka back in action, but I was not invested in this match.
Yeah, it wasn't an exciting match. I think this was early Eminem where they were still kind of getting their stuff together. You don't have the Morrison we get to see today or the Mercury that was working with Rollins. Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine match. It's nothing to write home. It's fine. It's fine. You get Tatanka.
Yeah.
Childhood fan favorite.
Well, yeah. It's again like looking at where, because of the shows I watched, looking at where Matt was like 5 years before this. You know, the TLC match was 5, and then they start to break him and Jeff apart a little bit, and they're kind of starting to rally around Jeff a little bit more. This is just so glaring. I wouldn't even be shocked if at this point Jeff was probably on Raw, right? Matt was probably on Raw, right? And different brands. Matt is still just lost in the tag team shuffle. It's 5 years later, and he's still just randomly getting paired with people. They have no idea what to do with this guy.
They had nothing for him. They were just like, this is right before he gets let go too, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Sure. This brings us back to match number 4. Chris Benoit versus United States Champion Booker T with Sharmell. Video package is shown before the match, highlighting how Booker had Orton replace him in the final best of 7 match, which we talked about earlier. It was also genuinely covers the build of the match and how many hoops Benoit's had to go through to get this match. Now, before the match, Booker takes the mic, says there's going to be no title match tonight, and he calls out Teddy Long. Teddy Long comes out, I just say, wearing the suit that is twice the size of his body. And look, I love...
With 80 buttons. There's so many buttons.
I love a good zoot suit. I got a zoot suit tuxedo for my prom because that's how cool I was, okay? Love me a zoot suit. This is like not as... This is, I don't know, this is some high... This is maybe high fashion. Maybe I don't get it. I don't know.
Early 2000s, man. That was how suits were cut. People were... All the buttons, the lapel stopped up here on the middle of the chest, and it was just like 8 buttons all the way down to your thighs.
Flinging his arms around. I think it's just the pageantry of it, like the trail, the fabric leaves as you walk.
Looks like a kid in his dad's suit.
Yes, he looks like a child. So Booker says that he's going to forfeit the U.S. title, and he goes to leave the ring. Benoit starts chanting "coward." Crowd starts chanting "coward." Benoit says he's not going to accept this title via forfeit. He demands Booker come back in the ring, to which Sharmell slaps Benoit, yells at him as Booker attacks Benoit from behind, and Teddy says, they're both in the ring. They're fighting. Rings the bell. We got ourselves a match. So at one point, Benoit hit the Three Amigos as an homage to his good friend Eddie Guerrero. I want to take a moment here, and I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole. But, like, we're 3 months removed from Eddie's passing. It is well documented at this point how much Eddie meant to Chris. And you know, he's doing the homage here. And, like, of all the people in the locker room that are watching what Vince is doing with Eddie's legacy and everything like that, man, he's such a... I don't know. I would imagine that is... And I'm not saying that these things are connected, but I would think that's got to be messing with Chris a little bit to see... to see these things said and done about somebody who obviously meant quite a bit to him, right?
It's like a metaphorical, just picking at a scab every day. You come to work just to be reminded, and you try to heal and get better. And it's like, oh wait, dedicate this match to him while somebody else yells he's in hell, but you can't do anything about it. Yeah.
So
it does have a
it's just this match. It's always hard to watch Benoit matches anymore, but particularly considering the timing, this was a really too many thoughts.
Yeah.
So at some point, they were going back at some point after this. They're going back and forth. Booker goes to the top rope. He hits this flipping leg drop. Or he goes to hit a flipping leg drop and he misses. And I was like, wow, Booker T, man.
That was the Houston Hangover.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Towards the end, Sharmell popped up for the distraction, setting up Booker for the scissors kick across the back, which got a great near fall. Sharmell once again popped up. She got knocked off the apron by Benoit, who dodged another scissor kick, locked in the sharpshooter before transitioning to the crossface for the win. Crowd was way into this win for Benoit. After the match, Benoit and Ray are shown celebrating. Teddy, Matt, Lashley, Pat Patterson, a bunch of the cruiserweights are backstage. They congratulate Benoit. And lastly, Benoit gets to Chavo and Vicky, who give him a big hug. And Benoit tells Ray to beat Randy Orton tonight for Eddie.
No pressure.
Oh my God. Just again, it's rough knowing how all those pieces came together. More storytelling here, just for what the match was, by the way, more storytelling than in-ring action. I'm sure there were other of the best of seven matches that were better than this, but this was more of a storyline kind of blow off conclusion to all the work they've been doing. So that'll bring us to our double main event, the first of two. And by the way, EJ, I want to say thank you for picking a show that had such a concise card. Like, it wasn't too long, wasn't too short. We're 4 matches in. You're getting to your double main event. 6 matches total. More of this.
It moves. It moves so well. I also want to give a shout out to Rey Mysterio. Has been wrestling for over 30 years now.
Yeah, and not like a light style, like hard style. Yeah,
just going. God, yeah.
So
no, this is a great card.
So with that, with Ray, we've got Randy Orton versus Mysterio with Ray's WrestleMania spot on the line. I miss Ray popping out of the entrance ramp at the pyro. What a cool visual. Just so much more badass. A few minutes into the bout, Orton taunts the crowd. He does the Eddie Guerrero chest slap pose. And yeah, guess what? He pisses everyone off. He gets some heat. Go figure. You mock a dead person, you're going to get heat. Right.
It's crazy.
Heaven Christ. So Ray went for the West Coast pop to the outside, which I thought looked really cool. Orton caught him and swung him straight into the ring pole like a baseball bat, which everybody gets to do at some point with Ray, but this one looked good. I just wrote these two work so well at this point in their careers. Orton hits his brutal falling backbreaker that also looked weirdly safe. Like, it both looked devastating and like Randy does. He does things very well. I said Orton does so much without doing much, just grinding away at Ray when he's on these steps outside. I mean, it looks devastating, but if you know how the magic is done, it's like,
barely anything.
Barely nothing, man. Ray hits this top rope Hurricane Rana to turn things around, and somehow Orton got busted open on that or shortly after. But it's not like he bladed, because he's bleeding. I wrote right here where your third eye should be. So, like, if your third eye got popped open, it was pouring out of your head.
Looking like, what is his name? Bullseye from Daredevil?
It's like if your third eye blind. Anyway, it's a bad joke. Ray goes to the top rope, goes for a top rope dive. Orton blasts him with this perfect-looking drop kick, man.
Yes.
Everything about this match, I was just like, so crisp. Ray gets up, turns it around, goes for the 619, which Orton ducks, rolls him up for the pin while holding the ropes behind referee Jimmy Corderas' back, who is the ref in this match. Orton takes the mic, says he's going to the main event of WrestleMania now, and asks Ray, where are you going? Post-match, Orton takes the mic, says he's going to be... Oh, wait, what did I miss here? He rolled him up for the pin. Oh, he won. I should have explicitly wrote that. Rolled him up for the pin, held the ropes behind Jimmy's back. He wins dirty. He'll be going to WrestleMania now, which he announces on the microphone. Sorry about that. I misread my own notes. So yeah, man, an emotional moment here. And then we'll get to the backstage stuff in a bit. Well, I'll just get it all out there right now. So afterwards, Ray goes to the back, apologizes to Chavo and Vicky, says he let Eddie down. Chavo tells him he didn't let anybody down. Ray walks past all the cruiserweights and Lashley, who look disappointed. Ray walks down the hall, hitting the wall. And I noted that the shot was like filmed from below and kind of up. And I thought it was just kind of a cool shot. That's all.
Yeah.
It just looked nice.
That was cool. Just him walking down this dark, barely lit hallway, like slamming things and being upset. It was great. This match is fire. Yeah, it made me understand why. I think if you listen now, Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton have this love for each other, and they talk about how great it is, how each other working with each other is. And you go back and you watch this match, and you go, "Oh, I see why."
Yeah,
it almost makes you wish we could get like WCW Rey Mysterio in the early 90s against Orton around that era, and what type of magic that would have been.
You know what? It's like but like even now, it's like I want to see Orton and Ray go at this point in their careers now, where they're not going to work this style. They're going to take all this stuff they've learned and morphed and evolved with in the past 20 years, and they're going to layer it in. And look, Randy Orton laying out Dominic and Dad having to come in. I mean, that whole thing writes itself. Like there's a there's a lot you can do with that cast of characters. We're not there yet. I'm hopeful we'll get to see it at some point. Especially,
I'm sure they'll do something.
Yeah, but anyway, the heat, of course, there's a lot of heat on this. You're very invested because of all the stuff Randy's been saying and doing about Eddie's legacy. This is another excerpt from The Observer here. They say, I cannot state outright that Vince and Stephanie had a change of heart, but over the weekend, something definitely happened. The decision was made to put Ray into the main event. The Eddie Guerrero stuff on the pay-per-view was, in comparison to everything else the past 3 months, practically non-existent. So they did less on the show than they had. And although, we went to press before SmackDown was taped, they were told that references to Guerrero had been seriously toned down. So Vince may be starting to get the message. You are very much pissing people off, like people backstage, at home. Tone it down. And then he says, hopefully I don't look like a fool. I cannot forgive WWE for anything that they have done until this point. But if there was a change of philosophy, I am at least happy that the worst appears to be over. And I noted that on the following SmackDown, Teddy Long made the Mania event a triple threat match with Randy Orton, Ray, and the winner of the main event here between Kurt and Undertaker. So this is, I guess this is where you could say the height of the Eddie the traumatizing comments that were made about Eddie. I guess this is kind of right into the road.
I love that they said, "Oh yeah, they toned it down," because after not hearing it for a while and watching this event, I'm like, man, they are it's thick.
It is, yeah.
It's the through line of the show. I feel like.
Yeah, it doesn't age well at all, for sure.
Nah.
For sure. All right, and this brings us to the match that brought us to the dance here. The reason we are reviewing this pay-per-view, the main event, World Heavyweight Champion Kurt Angle versus Undertaker. There's this recap package that shows how Angle won the title in a battle royal on SmackDown, lastly eliminating Mark Henry, which kind of surprised me that in 2006, like, there was a moment there where people were like, are they going to put the belt on Mark Henry? He was the last one in there with Kurt Angle, maybe. So.
Yeah, this is right before Hall of Pain. He was just like the big guy that was always there, kind of like he could. And then he became the ECW World Champion after this.
He did become the
ECW.
Yes, yeah. So the match is based on Undertaker simply wanting the title back and wanting to beat the best, right? Did I build to this? That's it, right?
That's it. He shows up. He wants his fight. Okay.
That's it. Kurt comes out first. There is a very faint "You suck" chant to his theme song. Like, they're respectful of Kurt. Like, they want to do it, but they like him. So it's very soft.
Yeah, this was Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle 2, my favorite version. Even though this is what sucks. We're talking about knowing all that we know, because you watch this and knowing Kurt Angle and what he's about to go through and like his body and what he's going through at that moment, like with painkillers.
Yeah.
It's really like, oh man. But also, man, he works so great. I actually met him around this time period.
Nice guy? I thought Kurt's pretty nice.
The nicest. My grandmother spotted him before me, and he signs. I have a headshot of me back in my parents' place that Kurt Angle signed. My grandmother's son was like, "Kurt Angle, I need to touch you to make sure you're real." And she starts touching his muscles and stuff. crazy. I know. She loves wrestling. He's like relatively short with a very thick neck was all I remember thinking.
Yeah, I've met Kurt several times over the past couple of years, and it's just like I wish I'd met him earlier because watching him walk around at this point in his life, he is just stiff robot man.
Yeah, knees bent, kind of like walking with the knees bent. I would notice that in this match. I was like, oh, his knees, he can stand up straight.
Yeah, agreed. So Undertaker, he comes out, he's taking on the look that he would largely have for the rest of his career that I wrote. He's got the MMA gloves, which he'd been having for a couple years, but he had the black leather duster now. He had his fedora, so that was kind of hints of his traditional look, but this is pretty much the Undertaker we got for the next many, many years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of different haircuts.
Right. So Undertaker, I just wrote, is in such good shape here, and he's moving incredibly. The same with Kurt Angle. Angle's kicks on Taker in the corner, they look awesome. Undertaker took the fight outside the ring for a bit, slams Angle on the post. His hands look like he took the damage. So, yeah, he ran Kurt into the post, and he did like this. And I always think it's funny when I see the hands, like the hands hit the post. The guy doesn't hit the post at all, but the hands hit the post.
Yeah.
Damaging. Taker draped Angle on the outside of the ring, used the top or used the bottom rope and hit his signature leg drop. So he did the apron leg drop. Those always look good.
Yeah.
Angle and Taker are back outside, and Angle locks in the ankle lock, rolls in the ring to break the count, and then rolls back out to put the ankle lock back on again. That's smart.
God, yeah. They wrestle this match how I play video games, like wrestling video games. I'm like, no, just beat him up, roll back in, beat him up, and then, get your win.
And he could have just let him stay out there and won the match by countout and retain the title, but he didn't want to do that.
No, because he has honor.
So Taker and Angle are working a more mat-based style back in the ring. Taker pulls out this triangle choke, which really impresses Taz and Cole, particularly Taz, who, of course, is the color man here. And I just wrote down, is this the first time we see Undertaker use the triangle choke? Because it would become called the Hell's Gate, right?
Yeah, he does he goes from a triangle choke to a gogo plata for my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fans out there.
Okay, got it.
So it goes from a wrap around the leg, the head, with the triangle, and then he shifts it and he puts his leg under their throat, and then that becomes the Hell's Gate later on.
Okay.
I think you might remember when people would spit blood after being in it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but Undertaker working in like some MMA stuff here.
Oh yeah, this is when he starts really transitioning to his MMA style and working more things in there. It's great.
So Kurt Angle, he takes the fight outside later, and Angle slams Taker through the commentary table. Look great. The ref starts to count Taker out. Angle tells the ref to stop so he can win it in the ring. Don't count this man out. Taker turns it around on the outside, tosses Angle back in the ring. He goes to the top rope where Angle cuts him off. Angle's just in control here. Taker fights off Angle, but Angle runs back and hits the top rope belly to belly for a hell of a false finish. Taker gets up somehow. He goes to the choke slam. Angle spins it around to the ankle lock. This place is going nuts, I wrote. Angle has the ability to counter every finisher Taker has somehow into the ankle lock, including the last ride and the tombstone. Taker's just trying to get him, and, Kurt Angle just keeps slipping out. Always seems to
Spider monkeying just everywhere. He is on him. It's such a good match.
Angle has the ankle lock now, Anaconda viced in, and Cole is going nuts that this could be the first time ever that Undertaker taps. And that is big, man. Like it felt big when they were in this moment here. Taker literally kicks his way out of this ankle lock. Then he locks back in the triangle choke. Angle flips that over into a pin and then gets pinned. Then that's it. That's the end of the match. Kurt Angle wins. Taker is in disbelief. Cole puts over how Angle will now face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And it looks like the two afterwards are going to shake hands. But Taker pushes Angle to the corner. He says, "I'm not done with you." And that's kind of the end of it. And like we know, it would go on to become Angle, Orton, and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. But, dude, you're right. And, we kind of did a 10,000-foot view of this. But I would encourage people to go back and find this one. It really is a great match that you set us up here. Ethan.
It's a slam banger.
Slam banger all day.
And I love a surprise roll-up finish. He hits the jackknife, flip over, gets the pin. Easy. easy breezy. Everybody comes out looking like $1 million. It's one of my favorite matches.
Yeah. All right. Well, EJ, I want to thank you for choosing this, for gifting me Vengeance, or not Vengeance. This is No Way Out 2006. Got my pay-per-views confused. I'm going to be back tomorrow with Justin LaBar on New Year's Eve. I'm going to review WWE WrestleMania 17, which took place 5 years earlier, April of 2001. I actually want to kind of preface this. We didn't realize this when we put this together. I just asked everybody to pick pay-per-views. There was no rhyme or reason, but Justin picked WrestleMania 17, and Christy, which is going to be the Friday show, she picked Vengeance 2001. Those shows take place 8 months apart. At WrestleMania 17, the Monday before WrestleMania 17, Vince buys WCW. And you start to get the build of WCW versus WWE. I'm not even talking the start. I'm talking the infancy. We don't know what's going on. By 2001, you are getting a unification match, and that angle is over. And the bookends of WrestleMania 17, and I've recorded them both already, so I can tell you they're both very good. The bookends of the WrestleMania 17 and the Vengeance 2001 story, these two reviews could not have flowed better together. So that is,
I can't wait.
Dude, yeah, that is my tease for you as you go into the holidays, as you're sitting home away from your family, or you're sitting with your family in another room, whatever it is that you're doing. These should be shows you're going to enjoy. And of course, go find us over on our social media channels at Wrestling Inc. Wrestling Inc. on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Wink Daily, WINC Daily, if you want to follow the podcast. But of course, over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, weekends after pay-per-views, we go live with the Wrestling Inc. podcast. We pull the audio from that. We put it on the RSS feed for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. That's different than the daily. Subscribe to both. Get your maximum Wrestling Inc. audio experience. EJ, what would you like to plug, promote, put over here to wrap everybody up today?
Oh, everybody stay safe. Enjoy the holidays. Even if you can't be with loved ones, just try to find a way to find your happy and enjoy yourself. Take care.
Yeah, my happy.
Get a bagel.
Yeah, go get a bagel, man, or get a bottle of Evan Williams eggnog. That's what I've been nipping on here around the holidays.
I do need some adult eggnog.
Well, I'll tell you this, EJ. If you go to Target, I know, I'm classy. They got the Evan Williams eggnog, which is a very good nog. I'll put it that way. 4 kinds of whiskey in it. It's $9.
Tarjay?
All $9 for an Evan Williams eggnog, and it's 15%, and it's good for, I'd say, 3 to 4 glasses, depending on how you pour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
You sold me.
Where's my money, Evan Williams eggnog? Where's my sponsorship money? Yeah, go eat a bagel. I had a bagel today. It was delicious. I had some bacon too. All right, I am House Rebel, HAUS Rebel over on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.